Hey, over here. FBI, what are you doing here?
Alright, so if this leak is even half real, Resident Evil 9 might be one of the darkest, weirdest, and most psychological games Capcom has ever made. We're talking Leon Kennedy cursed by Umbrella, Raccoon City survivors slowly rotting years later, a villain who feels more like Hannibal Lecter than a typical RE bad guy, and a final boss that might actually be Spencer. Yeah, that's Spencer. Now before we go any further, huge spoiler warning, and yes, take all of this with a grain of salt. This info comes from Chinese forums like Bilibili and Tiba, but some of it already lines up way too well with recent trailers. So let's break it all down, piece by piece. According to the leak, Resident Evil 9 focuses on two people cursed by Umbrella, not infected like your usual zombies. Not mind-controlled, but slowly destroyed over time. One of them is Leon, the other is Victor. And running through the entire game is one big theme: time. Not time travel time as in damage. Long-term consequences. Stuff Umbrella did decades ago finally catching up. That alone already makes RE9 feel way more personal than stop the virus, shoot the monster, roll credits. So you've probably seen the black gross on Leon's neck in the trailers. Here's the wild part. According to the leak, this isn't a new virus and it doesn't even start in RE9. Victor calls these symptoms Umbrella's gift. Basically, some survivors of Raccoon City didn't get away clean. Over time, their bodies started developing these strange black growths. Slow, painful, inevitable. This means Leon has been carrying this curse for years. And get this, 6 Raccoon City survivors have already died from the same condition. Leon knows it. He's watching the clock run out. That adds a whole new layer to his character. If you think this is RE for Leon 2.0, nah. The leaker straight up says, don't be fooled by the trailers. Leon gets physically and psychologically tortured throughout the game. The word they use to describe him by the end: exhausted. There are moments where Leon fails to save people multiple times, including scenes similar to the nurse death people already complained about. And that failure, it changes him. You actually see a shift in his mentality over the course of the game, which honestly sounds like Capcom finally leaning into Leon's trauma instead of just pretending he's fine. Now let's talk about Victor, because this dude is fascinating. First, Victor is not the final boss. Second, he's not possessed, cloned, renamed, or secretly someone else. Victor is just Victor. He's extremely calculating. He can access information on government agents. He's tall, physically powerful. Think Mendez from RE4, but way more psychological. To Grace, he's like Hannibal Lecter to Clarice Starling. To Leon, he's something even worse: a mirror. They're both suffering from the same curse. Victor isn't a tragic, sympathetic villain. He's cruel, intentional, a straight-up villain, and the leaker emphasizes that. Also, yeah, that hooded guy who killed Alyssa, that was Victor. Grace isn't just a side character, she has her own gameplay system tied to her role as an FBI analyst. She can analyze documents, files, evidence, and later in the game, her system actually determines which areas you explore first. That's huge. It suggests semi-non-linear progression and real investigative gameplay, not just key hunting. Also, someone is secretly helping Grace behind the scenes. The leaker confirmed it's not Leon, and they liked comments asking about Ada Wong. Make of that what you will. The woman contacting Leon in the trailer? According to the leaker, that's Sherry Birkin. They even used a Chinese word pronounced like Sherry as a hint. This actually lines up perfectly with her history and makes total sense for Leon's support network. And speaking of support, Leon isn't totally alone. His team may include other Raccoon City survivors, though not all of them appear physically. Some might only help through equipment, information, or remote support. Late in the game, Leon gets gear and assistance from them, almost like one last push before everything falls apart. Also, one unnamed Raccoon City survivor apparently died in a government office. No details, just ominous. Classic Resident Evil. Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center sounds absolutely unhinged. It's filled with high-contrast dark humor, weird architecture, construction zones, and a sequence directly inspired by RE4's Waterhall, which we already saw hinted at in recent footage. Victor even shoots down the rescue helicopter using a very specific method. Yeah, that scene. Then there's Raccoon City. Leon defies orders to drive Grace there because something went back. They're racing against time, dialogue is minimal early on, but ramps up hard once they hit the city. Emotionally, this feels like Leon returning to the source of everything that ruined his life. Victor isn't the final boss. The final boss only spoke one line in the trailers. And here's the nuclear rumor. It might be Spencer. Yes, that's Spencer. If that's true, RE9 might be closing the Umbrella story in the most personal way possible. Now again, grain of salt. Leaks are leaks. But I'll say this, a lot of this lines up way too cleanly with what Capcom has already shown. If even 60% of this is real, Resident Evil 9 could be a brutal psychological character-driven horror game. And honestly, that's exactly what Leon deserves. What do you think? Do you buy these leaks? And how would you feel about Spencer being the final boss? Drop your thoughts, hit like if this got you hyped, and subscribe for more Resident Evil coverage. I'll see you in the nightmare.